Hello, this is Patrick from XPression. I'd like to show you a new feature in XPression Maps 3.4 and higher, the ability to use a line tool to trace roads on your maps. So here I am in XPression Maps Designer, and I have an OpenStreetMaps or OSM map open, and I'm zoomed into the state of Iowa. And what I want to do, I've got Interstate 80, which runs east and west across the middle of Iowa. I'd like to show progress on that map. For example, I'm showing how somebody made a trip across the state. So what I want to do is show a way to trace that and have an animated line. So there's a couple ways to do this, and I'm showing this to you on interstates. This works with any type of road in the OpenStreetMaps map structure. So what I'm going to do here is this. I want to be able to just take a blue line, I'm going to put that out here, and I'm going to trace it. And there's a couple interesting things to do. And again, this is all OpenStreetMaps or OSM styles. So the first thing I want to do, there's a window inside of XPression Maps called Area Line Edit Options. And you'll notice there's a choice here for a pull-down menu. It says Lock OSM Layer. And I can click on it and I can see all kinds of things that I can trace. And I want to do an interstate. So I'm going to choose Interstate Only. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it that I want to use the touchscreen edit function. And the touchscreen edit function is meant to be something that would automatically trace. What this is for is if I was doing this with my finger on a touchscreen application, I probably am not going to have great control over what I'm doing. So this is going to force the system to try and recognize the line so that I don't have to be very accurate. I could do this a different way, and I could also show whether I'm doing handles. And again, handles in here, we can talk about this another time, but it's basically similar to Bezier curves, where I can plot my points and I can have it so that the points are locked, meaning they're mostly straight lines, or free handles, meaning I can make them bend and curve the line, or I can have it so there's no handles. And I can also say whether I want to see or not see the handles. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn the handles to be visible so that we can see them. And I've got myself set for touchscreen edit mode, or auto trace, what I'm going to call it. And I've got lock OSM to interstate. I'm going to go ahead and choose a blue line. I'm going to take it, I'm going to drag it out on the map, and I'm going to put it on the red line, which is my interstate. And you can see now if I drag my mouse across the screen, I'm pretty much fairly accurately staying on the line, and you can see the line is kind of tracing it right on that interstate road line. And I could wander off a little bit, and you can see even though I'm wandering off, it's pretty much paying attention to that line. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to right click to say that I'm done. And I'm noticing here that my resolution isn't perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the line, and that adds a point here. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in a couple of other places here just to make the resolution a little better. Let me say, put one in here too. I'm double clicking, by the way. Now, I've done this. I'm going to come over to the Drawing Editor tab, and I'm going to choose the progress value. And you'll notice if I grab that handle and I slide it back and forth, you can see as I'm sliding it back and forth, my percentage goes from 0 to 100 and back again. This is a way that I could animate this line. Basically what I would do is 2 points in time, and I would set it by keyframing it. And again, if you remember keyframing, if I'm at 0 right here, and I'm going to go ahead and set this to 0, keyframe 0, I'm going to set the value to 0, and I'm going to click on my keyframe button. I'm going to move my timeline cursor. I'm going to scrub it down and put it down at 120. I'm going to come back up to the value for progress. I'm going to change that to be 100%. I'm going to hit the keyframe button there. I'm going to rewind my animation, and you'll watch, and there it just animates itself across my line, my road. Now, you can do this with any type of road. I chose to do this with an interstate. You can do this with roads, with highways, secondary roads, minor, major, it doesn't matter. You can use any type of road. You can also trace the shapes of a region, a state, a country, lots of other things in here you can use these to trace with. And you'll also find later you can also select a state and you can drop something in an area. Maybe I'll make another video some point in time to do that, because it's kind of the same thing. You set it to what you want to lock the OSM layer to, and then you manipulate it by adding in that drawing tool. In this case, I put this in as a blue line. And you can also see in my drawings overview panel, you can see that I've got my drawings overview, and it's blue 100%, which is the name of the drawing tool I've used. And you'll also notice there's a checkbox here for show and hide. So this is just like working in some of the desktop application with a little eyeball. Right now it's a checkbox. We'll probably evolve this at some point in time, but now I can see the asset that I'm playing with, and or the object I'm playing with, and I can see if I have a lot of objects. So now you've seen me go through the complicated process of putting all this together, tracing, and working with the drawings overview, and working with the area line edit options tools to trace a road in an OpenStreetMaps map.